The Houston Rockets are the most interesting team in the NBA. They still got a really solid roster. However, with a lot of drama surrounding the team with their big star James Harden, as he recently requested a trade, there are a lot of different directions this team can go in. And today I wanted to talk about those different directions and about the Houston Rockets in general and which direction they should go in. But before we do get started, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like the video as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new, as I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and it would mean a lot to me if we could reach that goal. Once we hit 1K, I will react to my very first 2 videos I ever made. So if you guys want to see that and enjoy the videos on this channel, please make sure to subscribe. There are videos like this already on the channel and there will be more in the future. Also, if you guys have any feedback, please put it in the comment section below. That way I can provide you guys with the best content available. And if you guys have any video ideas that you guys want to see me do, obviously put them in the comment section below. That way I can provide you guys with the type of content you guys want to see. Also, if you guys want to see the more personal side of me and you guys want to get just channel updates, follow me on Twitter. The link will be in the description below. So with that being said, let's just get this video started. And to begin, I want to do like a really short recap of how we got here. Anyways, as we all know, this past off season, the Houston Rockets had a lot of drama. After losing in the second round to the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games, their second star, Russell Westbrook, requested a trade after just over a year. And he was eventually traded to the Washington Wizards. And during this time, he basically exposed their toxic locker room, and that obviously created even more drama, and eventually James Harden requested a trade, and the drama has just further escalated ever since there. But anyways, going on to the Houston Rockets as a team, I want to start out with this roster, and we gotta start out with James Harden. I'm gonna get him out of the way. We all know how good of a player he is. He's an amazing scorer, amazing shooter, and he's a great playmaker too, despite all those memes of, oh, he doesn't pass the ball. And he's leading the league in assists, by the way, so yeah, there's that for you. Anyways, he could get traded this year, as obviously he did request a trade, so don't be surprised if he gets traded. But even then, he's still an amazing player. So far, this year he's been averaging 29 points per game, 11 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, shooting 46% from the field and 39% from 3. But with that being said, let's move on to John Wall. John Wall obviously has looked like he's looked like the John Wall of old, and obviously he had a lot of doubters coming into this season, as it had been over 2 years since he last played an NBA game. But it looks like he hasn't missed a beat, as the guy looks like a really good slashing point guard, as we all know, and the guy is a great playmaker. He can score the ball very well. He's also a really good defender, and he's an improved shooter. The guy has started to take threes, and he's also turned into a pretty decent mid-range shooter. And hopefully the guy can up his 3-point percentage, as right now he is not shooting well from 3. But even then, if he's just like a 36 to 37% 3-point shooter, that would be pretty good for this team. And so far, as of the recording of this video, he's averaging 23 points per game, 5.5 assists per game, and 1.5 steals per game, along with 5 rebounds per game, shooting 49% from the field. But let's move on to Christian Wood, who is a really good offensive big man who can score the ball, rebound, and he can shoot from mid-range and 3. He's a good post player. He can also face up pretty well, and he's a good roll man and is just a good offensive big man in general. Well, aside from playmaking, he's not that great of a playmaker. And defensively, he's okay, but even then, he's still a really good player. And so far this year, he has been amazing, as right now, as of the recording of this video, he's averaging 24 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 2 blocks per game, shooting 55% from the field. This year, I think there's a real chance that he is going to be a breakout player. And with all of that being said, that's kind of all I have to say for Christian Wood. He can definitely break out this year, and keep your eye on him. But next up, I want to talk about Eric Gordon, and I won't spend a lot of time, as Eric Gordon is far from the most fun guy. But anyways, Eric Gordon is a pretty good 3-and-D wing who can also finish at the rim, and right now he's averaging 19.5 points per game, 2 assists per game, and 2 steals per game, shooting 44% from the field and 30% from 3. Now, the 30% from 3, we are not very far into the season, so of course it's it's gonna stay like that right now, but hey, it should improve as we go on throughout the season, and the guy's taking a lot of threes a game, so there's that for you. Anyways, next up I want to talk about PJ Tucker for a short period of time. And PJ Tucker is a pretty good 3-and-D wing / big, I guess. Yeah, anyways, PJ Tucker is just great. He's a pretty good small ball big, and he's a really good hustle guy, along with being a good veteran leader. And his stats don't exactly show his value, as he's only averaging 5 points per game and 6 rebounds per game, shooting 54% from the field and 50% from 3. And those shooting splits, don't let them fool you, as he's not taking a lot of shots, so that can obviously explain that. Plus, we are not too far in the season. But anyways, PJ Tucker is still a really valuable role player to have, as his skill set's very good and he's a really good veteran leader. Next up, I want to talk about Danuel House, who obviously he did have some drama, as the guy did complain about his role in the offense, but he's still pretty good 3-and-D wing who can finish, and right now he's averaging 7.5 points per game and 2 assists per game, but he's doing that on bad efficiency, but it should definitely, his efficiency should increase as we go on throughout the season. But anyways, the final player I want to talk about is Demarcus Cousins, and unfortunately, he has not been getting a lot of playing time. So of course his stats, his stats and his efficiency are not impressive. But his per 36 stats are pretty good. And the guy, in the short playing time he has gotten, has been a really good player. He's a good offensive big who can shoot the ball, and he's also a really good scorer, along with being a good rebounder. So hopefully he can get more playing time and he can be a really good player. But anyways, let's talk about the Houston Rockets as a team. The Rockets can go in a lot of different directions. Even though they have a really good roster with a superstar in James Harden, there's a big chance that James Harden gets traded, obviously. And one of the directions I could see them going in is keeping the team the same this year, with maybe some small changes at the deadline and all, and they don't decide not to trade James Harden this year. Now, I don't know if this does happen, but I could definitely see this happening if they don't get a good offer, so they decide, you know what, we'll keep him this year, and we'll look for a trade for James Harden in the offseason, or who knows, maybe we'll just see what happens for the rest of the season. And if they were to do this, I definitely think they can be a pretty good team. Now, right now, they don't have the best record right now, and they are I'm not sure about the record. I believe it's 2-5. I mean, don't quote me on that. But right now, the Houston Rockets do not have the greatest record, but I do think they can turn things around, and they can definitely be a playoff team, something like a 4 to a 6 seed in the Western Conference. And I do think they can make a pretty deep playoff run, maybe all the way to the Western Conference Finals. It really just depends on their seeding. If they run into a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, I seriously doubt that they win, since the Lakers to me are just a better team, and the Rockets defense obviously isn't great, so that doesn't help either. But even then, I just think the Lakers are just a better team in general. So I mean, it really just depends on what matchup they get, and a ton of other stuff on how good they do in the playoffs. But there is a chance that they can make a real run, but even then, I seriously doubt that they win the championship. The second direction I can see them going in, to me, is the more likely one, and that is they trade Harden this season, whether it's at the deadline or whatever. Anyways, and they decide to start a rebuild or a retool. This definitely sounds to me like a really likely option. First off, they don't have a lot of draft capital, and their future is looking really bleak right now. They do have Christian Wood, but I mean, aside from that, they don't have a ton of great young players to look forward to, and they don't have a lot of draft capital. So obviously, trading James Harden would get you a lot, and that could mean a young player, some filler players to, make the salaries work, plus 2 first round, plus at least 1 or 2 first round picks. Obviously, you can definitely get more picks, but you guys know what I mean. One trade idea I have is James Harden to the 76ers, in which the Rockets would receive Ben Simmons, Mike Scott, Tony Bradley, and 2 first round picks, and the 76ers would get James Harden, and yeah, that's basically it. I do think this is a pretty good trade for both sides. Houston gets a guy to build around for the future next to Christian Wood, along with 2 firsts and some nice role players. Obviously, that's a pretty good package. The 76ers, on the other hand, get a great perimeter shot creator and playmaker next to Joel Embiid that can possibly make them the title favorites. Now, John Wall and Ben Simmons is a pretty iffy fit since John Wall right now is not a good three-point shooter, and that can definitely screw up the spacing, but hey, if they can figure that out, that would not be too bad. And as for me, as you guys can probably tell, I think if I'm the Houston Rockets, well, you guys might be able to tell, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I would trade James Harden and go in the rebuild/retool direction. I don't think Houston is good enough to win a championship this year, especially with the loaded Western Conference. Now, I wouldn't be totally opposed if they decide to be good this year and then trade James Harden in the offseason, especially if they can't, get great offers, since they got to get the most they can out of James Harden, since it's James Harden. Get the most you can out of him. And he can notch you a good young player, some good role players, and some good picks, as I said before, and that would be pretty good to help revitalize this well, maybe not revitalize, but, give this franchise something to look forward to in the future. Now, the 76ers, to me, are easily the best trade partner with the Houston Rockets in a possible James Harden trade, as they can give you someone like Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, plus some draft picks and some nice role players. And let's say they were to accept the trade, I came up with. And I think they would run a lineup of John Wall, Eric Gordon, Ben Simmons, PJ Tucker, and Christian Wood. And the bench would be Jae'Sean Tate. Yeah, they do need a backup point guard. I was not sure who to put for the backup point guard, so maybe I'll figure that out while I'm editing. Denwell House at the 2, Ben McLemore at the small forward, Mike Scott at power forward, and Demarcus Cousins at center. And this team, to me, could maybe make the playoffs as the Western Conference, probably as a lower seed, since, the conference is pretty loaded, so yeah, there's that for you. But they should definitely be set for the future if they can build around Ben Simmons. Right, they got two future young stars in Ben Simmons and Christian Wood, plus Ben Simmons, he's already a star. And of course, as I said before, if built around properly, Ben Simmons could be a very good player. The guy is a very fast player. He's 6'10", so he's really tall too. He can play basically any position on the court. He's a really good defender in the paint and on the perimeter, and is a really good playmaker. Along with that, if Steven Silas can get him to shoot threes, and he's shooting something like 37% from 3 on 4 or maybe 5 attempts per game, he might be damn near unguardable. But to me, the Rockets, they have a lot of directions they can go in. They can try and be good this year and just try to be a playoff team and make another run for the title, or they can trade James Harden and we could see a rebuild in Houston. But with all that being said, that will wrap up today's video. The Rockets will be a team that you want to keep your eye on, since they will be very interesting. If you guys enjoyed today's video, obviously, please make sure to hit the like button, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoyed the content on here. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean a lot to me if we could hit that goal. I will react to my first 2 videos, so if you guys want to see that and enjoy the content on here, please make sure to subscribe. There are videos like this already on the channel, and there will be more in the future. Plus, put any feedback and video ideas you have in the comment section below, and go ahead and follow me on Twitter. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.